All right, let's move over to the Orange Bowl. So, Joe, we continue down this path, or we continue on breaking down every team and their keys to victory. Let's go to the Orange Bowl. Let's start off with Notre Dame here. Oh, here come the Irish. I know you're excited. You're going to be at the game in the Orange Bowl in Miami. What are your thoughts on what does Notre Dame got to do, or pretty much do they got to just continue to do the same thing that they've been doing all season to get to a national title game and beat Penn State?
Yeah, just like what we're talking about here with Ohio State, Notre Dame has a formula for winning football games, and it's very unique to them. It's Michigan-esque, where they're relying on their defensive playmakers to completely shift and change the momentum and the paradigm of the game and what's happening in it. They need to continue to win the turnover battle. And they're not a team that's winning off of turnover luck. This is not some BS where, oh, oopsie, the ball got tipped, and look, they've got a bunch of interceptions because that's what's happened for them, or somebody dropped the ball and it ended up in their hands. No, they're forcing turnovers, man. They got headhunters. Don Schuler's coming downhill, and he's smacking dudes. Xavier Watts is taking advantage of any risky ball that is thrown over the top. Winning the turnover battle also means that Riley Leonard doesn't make any mistakes, doesn't give up a free layup or a short field to Penn State. If they're able to get 2 turnovers like they've done, they're able to continue to rely on a defensive or a special teams touchdown, which they're going to get in this game if they win. That is what has always been the biggest trigger for their success. And then lastly, I yelled a ton about Riley Leonard and Mike Denbrock and his deployment and how they were using him. I don't mind the efforts to try and get him worked in as a passer, but Riley Leonard needs to continue to win games with his legs. They need to continue to get out of him what he is built to do. When he was great at Duke, it was because he was dominating with his legs. Scheme him touches as a runner. It helped Notre Dame close out that game against Georgia.
Mike did that again. I mean, when you go back and
he did it, but he started to do it towards the third, fourth quarter. That was when he started to do it. In the beginning, there were a lot of passes that just weren't connecting, which is why until that 17-point swing that happened in that very brief period of time between the seconds. Right. I think in addition to that, though, we do also need to still see like 1 to 2 splash plays from them throwing the football. Jordan Faison had the big 44-yard reception against Indiana. Mitchell Evans, we know, has been improving and getting better as he's been returning from that ACL injury. I think that they need a couple 15, 20-plus passes just to take that pressure off the run game, because this Penn State defensive line is going to be coming down hard to stop Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love.
Pause. Question. Do you think Riley Leonard can have another game where he throws for 90 yards and you win it?
Yes. I think that they can. I absolutely think that they can.
Why?
Because they've not directly 90 yards, but he's not been a guy who's eclipsed large passing totals. He's just not.
I'm with you. I do wonder. So the thing about Notre Dame, okay, I'm with you. Be yourself. I feel like every team that I've talked about here, Joe, tonight, it's get after the quarterback. Right? Like, meaning, I think that Notre Dame, who, yes, Riley Mills is out. And look, here's your biggest sack guy, 7.5 sacks. It is what it is. Brother, Golden went after Gunnar Stockton. And I've seen another quarterback be rattled. Brother, what? USC, crying out loud. What did D'Anton Lynn do? His worst game from a decision-making standpoint, he threw 3 picks. Now, he made some really good decisions. Yeah, he threw 3 picks. Go back and look at it.
Riley Leonard didn't throw 3 picks.
I mean, what did I say? Riley Leonard. Drew Allar, sorry.
Drew Allar, yeah. Sorry.
What happened with Drew Allar when he got pressured by D'Anton Lynn? In the games that he got pressured. I mean, Joe, SMU, why were they so sloppy? You say it's the cold. I say, well, he's getting hit a lot. That's what I see. He's getting hit a lot. He Boise State. Joe, he got hit a lot. It's the same for Notre Dame for me. You got to get after Drew Allar. Did it against Georgia? Do it again. Play man. And you know what, Joe, I am making, in the passing game, I am making everybody else on the Penn State roster beat me, not named Tyler Warren. If a receiver, running back, whatever, in the passing game beats me, it's not going to be him. I'm eliminating him. Whatever I got to do to eliminate him, I'm eliminating him. Show me that you can win a game or you're wanting to win a game without him. Joe, what does every one of these big games for Penn State come down to? They are going to force feed him the football. It is what it is. Over and over and over again. That's what they've done in their prolific matchups. Take them away, get after Allar, you're going to be fine. I do have a concern for both teams. So I'm going to say in both videos, both of them have struggled in the red zone, have been really dominant in between the 20s in moments. Once they get there, they start sputtering, both of them. If this becomes a field goal game, both teams are going to be in it. Who gets the ball last, what defense makes a turnover late, could be the deciding factor here when you're going to play both of them play styles of football like this.
My last bit that I like that you brought up, I think is also important. The play style and the game plan against Georgia translates to this matchup. The way in which they came downhill and they did everything possible to completely take out of that game Trevor Etienne and Nate Frazier. They had a couple of splash plays, but for the most part, they were pretty bottled up. We started to see in the beginning of the game, and I think a lot of people were lazily just being like, wow, Gunnar Stockton, big plays, man. Even the broadcast booth was glazing the shit out of Gunnar Stockton too when he had a couple of those big throws. But the reality of it is that was playing into Al Golden's trap. Al Golden's trap was you're going to get caught up. We're going to strip. We're going to get a ball off of you, man. Just wait. We're going to either get a pick. We're going to knock the ball out of your hands. And it's what I talked about going into that game. That translates to Drew Allar. Drew Allar is a better and more experienced quarterback than Gunnar Stockton. He has weaker receivers and less production. He's got a really freaking good tight end, and he's got two really good running backs. Notre Dame, I think, needs to be really focused on you're not going to remove Nick Singleton and Katron Allen.
I'm going to push back.
Slow them down as much as you can and get Drew Allar in as many third down situations and also making him throw the ball. Because his accuracy, man, it's been all over the place. Go back. I want Penn State fans, if they disagree with me on that, go back and watch the Boise State game. There were passes that he was throwing that were all over the place, that were not in range of his receivers to make plays on the ball. So the more he throws, the more of a chance it leads to an interception, a sack, or a bad decision.
I'm going to push back on one thing you said. Ohio State contained shit. No, they didn't. They took out Katron Allen and Nick Singleton. Now, they got them involved in different ways. Like Nick Singleton had 6 catches for 54 yards, right? Like, I mean, so I don't want to say they was completely eliminated him, but the running game aspect, they were completely eliminated. Joe, I think Notre Dame can do a lot of that same stuff. We'll talk about Penn State in a minute. I completely disagree. I think they still got to throw it a little bit on Notre Dame. I mean, I literally saw Gunnar Stockton have success. I know
because he had one-on-one matchups that eventually, like, there were going to be a couple opportunities.
Are you saying that they're not going to go one-on-one matchups against Penn State? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that, like, Notre Dame fans shouldn't be freaked out if there's a couple of big because that was Al Golden's plan. Was like, yeah, look, we're going to give up a big play through the air once in a while in this game, but like eventually we're going to get that turnover that we're looking for.
Well, he made Gunnar Stockton beat him by throwing the football, and the question becomes, again, to go back to the original point that I had made earlier, at least from my mind of what you're trying to, or what we're saying here, you got to get after him. You got to make Drew Allar beat you with his arm. Now, right. I will say this. You said eliminated Etienne and those guys from running the football. You're right. They did. Can you replicate what Ohio State did against Penn State with 2 good running backs? That Georgia O-line and running game was dog water all year. It was dog water. Pun intended.
Well, and Penn State's O-line has been banged up. Donka, their best offensive lineman, hasn't been available for some time. And they've been good. But I don't think that they're that far off from Georgia, because Georgia has talent on the same thing as Penn State. They have talent on their offensive lines.
Yeah, it's just a tackle. It's really brutal.
Yeah. Wait, I want to double check. Yeah, you're on point with. I just wanted to double check. I knew you were right, but I wanted to get the exact numbers. Katron Allen had 27 yards. Drew Allar had 31, and Nick Singleton had 15.
Look who led them in rushing.
It was Tyler Warren.
It was Tyler Warren.
3.1 yards per carry for Allar, 2.2 for Allen, 2.5 for Nick Singleton. And I mean, even without Riley Mills, there's not as much. It's the Ohio State defensive line is more talented, but Notre Dame's defensive line success is not far off from Ohio State's.
I mean, Riley Mills won't be there, so it's. I mean,
well, but this is the biggest thing that like I'm optimistic about as a Notre Dame fan is they didn't have Riley Mills, and we were worried coming into that game in the Sugar Bowl, and they still played their asses off. They still played great football.
Yeah, I'm not saying. All I'm comparing is it's two completely different things in running games.
Yes. Yeah.
Because Georgia's struggled all year. They've been dog water against everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, they were dog water against UMass running the football.